Annie did the same thing, and it was all with packs off, and she got up and she was fine. So then I was the last one. I was like, well, if they can do it, I can definitely do it.
I was concerned because, once again, I had just fallen. And Alex wasn't there anymore to catch people, you know, it was just me at this spot and then Annie and Jake on the side.
And the three of us were down on the lower section of the rock, you know, and I was feeling pretty confident. It was like, well, us three are in the line. Nicole, Jake and I were down the bottom, and we're here. And if you happen, you know, to stumble a bit, as we all have, we'll be here to catch you, kind of thing.
Then they're like positioning Sarah, getting her ready to come down and saying, we'll catch you if you start to slip and fall.
We kind of stood at the bottom of where that little ridge crack thing was, so that if something happens, you know, we've actually like got a groove to kind of have some resistance, so we're not just sliding back as well.
I was trying to be quite cautious, as I usually am, quite cautious. So I got on my bum and I started sliding forward.
Annie and Jake were standing on the side, and then I'm sort of bang in the middle on this plateau.
I was the one who was kind of, you know, closer to her and kind of saying, oh, maybe put your foot here or do this. I don't know. Anywho, for whatever reason, Sarah started sliding a bit earlier than the rest of us kind of slipped.
From the get-go, Sarah wasn't quite over enough.
She started slipping straight away and didn't really get a chance to kind of get in that groove.
I really didn't think that there would be any problems. I didn't think that she would, you know, fall and hurt herself.
My body was building up a bit of momentum and I couldn't quite control it, and I started to slide towards the right.
And that's like this.
Suddenly I just couldn't stop my body.
Sliding down past me, and I was ready. I had it in my mind. I was like, she'll get to this point here. I'll grab her hand.
My usual outlook is like everything's gonna be fine, but then it got really, really full on really quickly.
And it wasn't, Sarah wasn't anywhere near me and she started sliding down, and you know, it was kind of like in slow motion, but also it's happening so fast.
I could see Jake and Annie and Nicole just looking like, oh, they didn't know what to do.
I actually had this conversation with myself where if I don't launch myself onto Sarah, if I don't risk my own personal safety, she could die.
It's happening so fast, and because she slid past me, you feel a little bit like frozen because you know you'll be slower than the moment you need to be.
I was very confident that someone down the bottom would help you, catch you, but then when Sarah started going past Nicole, then it was like, whoa.
It was like the scene of the worst thing that could happen.
Jim and I were sort of gone down a bit ahead, and as we're looking around and scoping things out, we just started to have a discussion about how much more dangerous things are starting to get. And as we were talking about it, we hear this scream from up where we just came from.
At first, I sort of thought it was just people having a laugh, but then, I don't know, just the kind of situation we were in and the environment that we were in, I just didn't want to leave it up to chance, so I sort of started quickly making my way up.
I was just a little bit further than Jim. I just looked at him and going, go. He drops his bag and runs straight up the hill, and in my own head, I'm sitting there going like, what just happened? I hope everything's okay.
I just hear this like screaming and yelling, and it sounds like Sarah's like, screaming at the top of their lungs, and Nicole's going, Sarah, Sarah.
I thought it was life-threatening.
I could hear Nicole then being like, oh, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna jump.
And obviously I was terrified anyway, because if, you know, we both start going, then it could be dangerous for both of us. But anywho,
I saw Nicole grasp from memory and not really grab her properly.
I launched myself onto her, and I remember it was actually quite like a jump forward, and we then meet at this point, still going, and we're tumbling.
It was in a matter of seconds that she'd been able to jump onto her stomach.
The panic is just getting so intense, and she's all of a sudden flipped over, like head first.
It's at that point of her turning around and suddenly going face first that I felt this real panic inside.